Yes. Okay. So it's exactly 7 o'clock.
Look at us prompt.
It worked. It only took me several months to figure out how to do it.
I walked in and she goes, I think I figured it out.
So first I might jinx it, but I actually think it might work today. All right. So I am just going to, no, I'm not going to check on there. I'm just going to check on here and see if anybody has like posted that they have like, oh, I can't see you, or, you know, anything like that. And there we go. And nobody has. So we have 0 viewers, so maybe it didn't work. Normally we have viewers. So
let me sneak on here and see if I can get on.
I'm going to minimize the screen. We're still going to be recording though. And I'm just going to go over here just because I can see it easier. And okay, well, we might just have a 3-person meeting.
It's working.
I'm going to minimize the screen. We're still going to be recording though. I forgot that I was doing my conference call. Because I have some people who wanted to call in.
You can see the video's going too. So, does it show you have one?
Yeah. Okay.
And I just logged out. Now you have 2 viewers, so someone got 3.
3.
See, they're
good. Okay.
And
I'm going to go ahead and do the phone call thing too, so that we have that going. Because we had a few people who said they would rather call in. And I guess apparently that worked last time. So
excellent.
Conference call dial in.
I really should do my video makeup better. I feel so washed out.
We'll hire a makeup artist next time.
Makeup!
All right. So for those of you viewing, we're going to go ahead and do the conference call as well, so that people who... Oops, sorry. Here we go. So that people who don't want to...
Please enter your access
don't want to use their computer, they can actually just dial in on the conference call.
You entered 7333162. If this is correct, press 1. To re-enter your, please wait.
All right.
You are the only participant in the conference.
Only participant, but we will see. Now, I'm the only participant. What do I do?
Hide it in case someone else gets on, right?
Just do mute. Mute. No, not mute. Just turn my speaker off right now.
I think so.
Okay. So I'll just kind of listen to see if anybody gets on. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started, though. And I'm Stephanie Marcello.
I'm Lisa Patton.
And we have a guest here. Oh,
turn. Esther!
All right. So I am Superstar Director in Meridian, Idaho. And Lisa is a Star Director.
Star Director in Meridian, Idaho.
We are not in the same group or anything, but we just decided to team up and work together and see what we can do. So tonight we're going to be talking all about recruiting, but just a second, sorry. Is there anything that you would like to announce or remind your team about or your group about?
Negatory gig, buddy.
Okay. All right.
I'm much better at typing that stuff.
You are. You like put a lot out there on Facebook.
Sometimes. I like it though.
I know. She's so good. It'll remind me to do things sometimes.
Good.
So, all right. Well, one thing that I wanted to remind our, well, just everybody about is that it is transition month.
Yes,
and if you haven't gone into the Scentsy family store and bought business supplies, February is always a fabulous month to do that because you're going to be able to get all of your stuff ready for spring at a discount.
Yeah,
there's a few things that aren't discount, but like, aren't there? Like a couple things, but like nothing really business supply-y that you have to have. So make sure that you buy your catalogs. I like to try to kind of like estimate how many catalogs I'm going to need for the next 6 months and buy them all. So I would just encourage all of you to go in and do that, get that taken care of. It's a great time to get all of your testers and things like that all updated and in order and ready to go. And also consider doing a last chance first glance party right at the end of this month. So if you don't have one scheduled, you don't have a hostess who's willing to do that for you, or you don't dare ask, which you should dare, but if you don't, then be your own hostess.
Right.
And get one of those on the books so that you can just really hit the ground running for the spring, summer catalog season. All right, so recruiting. This is something that I think I would like to say is probably the biggest challenge that people have across the board with a business like this.
Yeah, the majority probably.
Yeah.
I do know a few people who just knock it out of the park, and so I hang on their coattails trying to pick up tips. But
Right.
yeah, it is a challenge for many.
Right, I think so too. And I do think that most consultants are going to struggle with this a little bit more than they are with the selling aspect of it. And like the partying and things like that. But it's something that can make probably the biggest difference in your business long term. So it's definitely worth talking about and worth learning about. And know that by no means do we consider everything that we cover tonight to be comprehensive in any way, because there's so much that we could cover. But we just wanted to talk a little bit first off about why you should recruit. So I've heard it said before, and you've probably heard it as well, that any sales that you do are your income for today, but any recruiting that you do, that's income for tomorrow.
Right.
And it's so true, because, you know, at first when you're recruiting and you just have like one person and maybe two people, and you're starting to kind of like, you know, maybe you're a lead consultant, you don't really see this huge financial benefit. Well, you're not going to, because that's income for tomorrow. As your team grows and multiplies exponentially, the potential that you have for income just like increasing exponentially, you know, just explodes from there. So when people come to me and they say, you know, I don't want to recruit this person because they're a customer, I try to remember what that's like, that feeling, because I remember feeling like that, like, well, this is one of my best customers. Why would I want to recruit them? And, you know, I kind of grappled with that initially when I first started for like the first month or so. But it's really important to go ahead and just sign them up, get them on your team, because then not only are you selling, but they're selling. And yes, they're selling for themselves, but in the long run, it benefits you. So it's always better to have a person as a team member than it is to have them as a customer. We love and appreciate our customers, and they're necessary, but anytime one of your customers is interested in joining, definitely just know that it's way better to have them as we're going to assume that nobody's going to call in on that for right now. So just know that it is just better to have them as a team member. The other thing that I have found along the way with Scentsy and Velata is that my level of just fun and excitement about the business like increases tenfold every time I get somebody to join with me. So if you don't have a team, just know, I mean, and you're probably having fun already, but just know that you're going to have so much more fun, and it's going to just be so much more exciting when you have somebody that you're kind of like going through this journey with. That is your downline. And I don't know, do you feel that same way?
I agree.
Yeah. It just somehow just makes it just more enjoyable. Especially like if you're new, don't feel like you can't recruit, because you should be recruiting and thinking about recruiting from the day you join. If you're new though, and you recruit somebody and you think, oh, I can't, you know, I don't even know what I'm doing. It's so fun to learn together and to experience this whole thing together as it kind of like unfolds before you. So that's another reason why you should recruit. And then the other thing that I want to talk about real quickly is the power of one. Now, typically when you're doing multiplication, if you multiply something by 1,
you get the same number.
You get the same number, right? 12 times 1 is 12. So it seems like there's really no power in just multiplying by 1. However, with sponsoring, if you were to sponsor one person per month and then teach them to sponsor one person per month, your team multiplies dramatically. So if you sponsor one person per month and then they sponsor one, and that person also sponsors one, and so on and so forth, at the end of 1 year, your team would have 4,095 people on it. And that's just by one person a month for each of the people on your team. And that's starting as one. I mean, and most of you have maybe even more than one at this point, but I mean, that's huge. And that's just you personally sponsoring 12 people a year. And teaching everybody else to do the same. And so think of it. Now, truly, most teams are not going to grow that fast. But let's just say you did it. Let's say you did 6 a year and you taught your team to do 6 a year. I mean, that would still be huge. So you need to look at that bigger picture and understand that the power of you recruiting one person a month and teaching them to do the same, and then them teaching their people to do the same, can make a huge, huge difference for you. I have somebody who signed up like 3 weeks before me that I am really close with, and our paths have been completely different. And I'm not like the world's greatest recruiter or anything like that. I just try to be like, you know, consistent for me, you know, which may be totally different than you're consistent. And something that I'm always working to improve upon. But just the fact that I thought about recruiting, I wasn't afraid eventually of losing customers and making them team members. And I was driven by, you know, some very specific goals that I had. You know, by the end of the first year with Scentsy, so I started January 8th, and by the end of the first year, I think I had like 27, 28 people in my downline, and she had 4. And so it can make a big difference. It's something that's super important. And I'm going to answer my door, and we'll just leave it at that. And
and I can take over. So the next question we like to think about is how should or how can I recruit? So we have just a little bit of reading here, but I just kind of want to cover these points specifically. So there's a big difference between recruiting and sponsoring. And a recruiter brings people into the company but leaves the training to somebody else. If you even think about this in corporate America, a company could have a recruiter and all they're doing is just finding talent, specifically bringing them in. But then once this employee starts, they don't have anything more really to do with the employee other than the relationship they developed, but they're not in charge of the training. Where when you sponsor someone, you are in charge of developing a game plan that helps those recruits promote their business and start earning money immediately. A sponsor's job is to ensure that people become successful team members. So a good sponsor also knows how to utilize various skills of the consultant. For instance, leveraging. So let's say with kind of what Stephanie and I do, we both were raised in Scentsy differently. And so it's been interesting forming bonds with some of these other leaders. It allows us to each share our own strengths. And sometimes I even say, I don't even know what my strength is. But if you have, and you meet people and you start growing your team, and let's say you have one person that closes the deal really good with sales or closes the recruiting conversations really well, and then another person has trouble getting the close, but they can find a lot of people interested, they just never get them to commit. So those two people working together and sharing their ideas are leveraging their skill sets with each other. So that's a really awesome thought to have. If you feel you have weaknesses in whatever area, find someone strong and go develop relationships with those people. And then I found 5 tips to becoming a better sponsor. These are all from Deb Bixler. I don't know if you guys ever have heard of her, but she's pretty knowledgeable in the field of direct sales. So one of them is to know what makes your company and product line special. You all think, oh, we know what Scentsy's all about, but do you truly grasp the concept? Can you, in 30 seconds, convey to somebody that you're having a conversation with, we call it elevator pitch, or whatever, a vendor show? You have a small window of time to talk to someone, And do you have what you want to say ready to go? And then further that, how do you back that up? So knowing what your company is about, and I mean, Scentsy's pretty authentic, and we have all those things to talk about. So it's really nice to have that passion and dedicate to promoting and selling it to others. So learn about sponsoring from other sponsors as well. YouTube is huge. You can type in Scentsy recruiting. There's going to be a ton of people.
A training center.
Training center too, yeah. I know a couple of, a superstar director, Katie Farner, is a really great recruiter. She has awesome YouTube videos. I take advantage of them all the time. Learn the tricks of the trade from experienced sponsors, like I just said, who have learned what's working and what doesn't. Now, I want to reiterate a little bit of conversations that I have quite frequently with other leaders and even leaders that are outside of this area. Parts of the country experience seasons different. So people who might be having success in the East, because it's still new and it's still fresh, where people here in the West might be finding it a little different, or we have to change our game plan to get into parties. So yes, talk to people wherever they are, but don't get discouraged if someone's saying, I just ask at every party and I get 4 bookings, you know, or I get a recruit conversation once a week. You know, it might not be the same here. I just find that, you know, if you start comparing apples to apples, our apple in Idaho is a little bit different than the apple in New York, for instance, who really is a potential hotbed, and California, a potential hotbed. I find it funny, I get see a lot of conversations about the potential in California, and I have quite a few team in California, and I'm just teasing all of my team members, like, you all really need to get busy because there's potential.
Yeah,
in
and
California.
they talked about the coast recently on leadership calls about both coasts,
both coastlines,
how much potential there is.
Yes.
And there is still potential here. It's just different. It's
finding, it's a different
like,
potential.
Like you said, like changing your conversations, changing your approach up a little bit, to match the season that Scentsy is in here.
Because everybody says, oh, they've heard of it. I do have people who have not heard of it. I've had conversations, so that's really fun, and it's really refreshing in Velata that hardly anybody's heard of it, because then I get to really open those doors. But I changed my tactic just a little if they've heard about it, because then you can ask them more direct questions. Like, you don't have to explain what the product's all about. You can say, oh, what do you love about it? You can skip all the introduction and you can get right to the nitty gritty of what they really know about Scentsy and where they feel their opportunities are. Persistence counts. Always, always, always realize that rarely do you get somebody that signs up on the spot. I mean, some areas do, but talking to someone for repeatedly and just staying in touch helps. People are watching you on Facebook. They're watching you on your social media. And so you're going to get those conversations where, oh, yeah, I've been watching you. So that opens the door. Just say, well, have you thought of joining my team? Or are you interested in earning extra income?
Can I share a little example about
Absolutely.
that? So speak of the devil, this happened just this week. I got, where am I trying to go? I'm trying to go to Messenger. So this is a person who was referred to me by a friend. She said, I have a gal who is thinking about signing up for Scentsy, wants to know more about it. It's a lady who used to live in my neighborhood. She now lives in Washington. So she gave me this gal's information. We PM'd back and forth for a while. And then anyway, she immediately ended up joining another company. And I was like, okay, whatever. But I stayed friends with her on Facebook. I mean, like, I friended her and I stayed friends with her and would try to comment on things. It's been over a year. She just messaged me, and this is what she said. She messaged me, I believe it was Tuesday. And she says, so I think I'm finally ready to start this Scentsy adventure. I know, finally, right? Is it better to sign up now or when the new catalog comes out? Anyway, so we had like a little conversation. She's supposedly signing up Friday.
Good.
But, you know, I mean, that's been over a year.
Yep. Yeah.
It really
because things can change. You know, it might not be, it'll be no right now, maybe, but that doesn't mean it's no forever.
Right.
That's true.
Yep, you're kind of an example as well. She took her
What is
time.
this?
She took her
I took
time.
about what, a year and a half?
Mhm. And then the other thing is you want to always have a plan. Financial success and results don't happen accidentally. You set down some ideas and you say, okay, well, I need to make a car payment, or I need to come up with this much extra money a month. So by having that plan, then you can then put into place what needs to happen for me to make $200 a month, or what do I have to do to get 12 recruits in a year, or what do I have to do these goals.
Mhm.
So set goals, set intermediate goals, and just know that even by accomplishing the little goals, if your big goal's not reached, it's not the end of the world. You just need to continue knocking the goals out.
Right, because I mean, if say right now the highest you've ever recruited is 3 people in a year, and you set a goal to do 12, well, you didn't hit 12, but you got like 7, you'd still be doing so good,
Right.
you know?
So I had a goal in 2014. I think I set it, I don't know, the new catalog in the fall or something. No, it was earlier than that. I think it was in spring. I said I was going to double my front line by the end of the year. And I truly made an effort to do it, talk to people. But what happened was it didn't happen at the end of the year. And I thought, oh, well, there went that goal. Psh. But what I realized is because I still had it sitting on my monitor, on my computer, I realized the goal in August. So I was only 8 months off. But, you know, it did happen because it's still there. I'm still looking at it every day and I'm still working it.
Right.
So that's why dream boards are really good. The other thing is to have fun. It doesn't hurt to enjoy your work. You work for joy and you work for pleasure, and that'll be evident with anyone you're sharing your opportunity with. If you're enjoying what you do, if you watch people, your friends on social media, and they are having fun at their job or whatever, you recognize that and you know that. So reverse that role, and what are you projecting into all of your friends? You know, that doesn't mean that Scentsy consultants might not have a bad day, or, you know, we struggle in a month or whatever. What we're saying is you always need to put the best face forward because people are watching.
Mhm.
And those people are the ones that are going to come join your team at some point.
And it gets people's attention. It does.
Yes.
Because think about it. I mean, how many people are posting about their job and how much fun they're having? There are a few people that aren't Scentsy consultants who are doing that. But like on a regular basis, think about the posts that you see. There's very few work-related, I love my job kind of things. Or
Right.
I'm having so much fun, or I love all these
Yes.
people.
And what do you think when you come across people who are complaining about their job? Oh my God, this happened or that happened. You know, I find that I start scrolling faster past them. Oh, there's so-and-so, you know, I don't want to know what their drama was today. Not that I don't care, but I don't want to put the mud in my swimming pool. So that's just kind of my motto on that. So some tips for Facebook or anything, and Stephanie said she's been sharing the recruiting challenge. There's quite a few leaders that I know that are all really focused on recruiting in February because of the bonus kit. So we picked there's like, I don't know, a bazillion tips for recruiting, but I kind of highlighted a few that I find are easy to do, they're easy to refresh, and they're things that you always need to do. And probably the most important one is, are you ready for your month? And I did this on the 1st, but get your 50-10 items ready. So spend the day, don't fall off your chair.
I just like whack
Spend the day preparing samples. So you always want to have a few samples with you, right? In case you have a conversation while you're out, but also have possibility packets with you because you never know when the door is open. Oh, look right here. Ta-da!
Let's show what a possibility
Dude,
packet is.
let's bring it up.
I mean, you don't have to use these cute little Scentsy envelopes. You can totally just use regular envelopes, or I've seen people put them in little plastic bags. So, and you can decide what you want to have in here, but I have a catalog, and then I have, instead of just a regular size small label, I have like a bigger label that actually has my Scentsy story on it. Just a really shortened version of it, just so one, they can kind of like put a face with a name, they've got a picture, and then they can kind of have a little bit of an emotional attachment possibly with me. I've got a Why I Choose Scentsy fragrance brochure in there. I've got this little pamphlet that my lovely sister designed for me.
Ooh la la.
So it just has some benefits of Scentsy, and then it has some FAQs, and it has my story, my full story, and then just a little bonus
Freebie.
Little freebie.
Right.
That's what I put in my possibility packets.
Super easy, right?
Easy.
The next thing is sending out borrow bags. If you follow up a couple days, talk to them about joining, right? You're always promoting basket parties and whatever, so you have to ask the question all the time. Go back in your workstation and search for canceled consultants and contact them about reinstating. Who are your 5 best customers? Work on recruiting them. Focus on their passion for the products. Did your Scentsy lady quit post? Has your Scentsy lady quit and left you all alone? Struggling to find a consultant that will provide you with excellent customer service? There are 2 options. 1, I'm here. Let me help you with ordering your party. Or 2, join and be your own Scentsy lady. So there you have laid the gauntlet out for them to.
I love that post.
To do. Send mini messages. And these are 5 mini messages, like to people. And they can be people that you interact with quite frequently. But I also go to your friends list on Facebook and go to the very bottom. And who's there and how well do you maybe know them, but you don't interact with them. And why not go to their page and start liking or commenting on a few of those things so that you're drumming them further up in your friends list. And what that happens is it starts creating a relationship. Once you do that and you get the engagement up, then they start seeing your posts more often. If they start commenting back, then that's when I would throw a mini message out. Or if I'm scrolling through their Facebook feed and I see that they might be struggling in something, offer the opportunity. Everybody needs money, right? This is a great way to make that money.
And don't make it so like unrealistic too, because sometimes maybe somebody's just looking for a little extra. Maybe they need to make $100 a month or $50 a month just to pay a bill. I mean, and those little tiny things seems like they seem a little bit more realistic for a lot of people and a little bit more achievable, and so they're not like scared away.
Right, exactly. And then there's one about who's up for a no-like challenge. For the rest of the week, I want to challenge you to do something. Don't just like a single picture on Facebook. Not one. Don't do it. You have to comment on every time. Every time you think you click like, put a comment. Because
Failed.
I have 2 at a time. It's easy to go through your feed and serial like posts. You know, oh, I like. But that doesn't personalize your interaction with them. So it's really nice to take this challenge, and even if you do it like every other week or maybe Fun Friday, you know, put some day in your head where you're going to have that mental, oh, I got to do something more than like the post. I have to comment. It'll really start drumming your posts up in their news feeds, but it also gets you engaged and building responsibilities.
Talk Tuesday.
Talk Tuesday.
You know, like
I
have a
love
little
it.
convo.
Yeah.
And you know, I actually think that it's a really good time to mention, I mean, just a reminder, we say this all the time, but this is a business about relationships.
Yes.
So if you're not making relationships with people, it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
So build those relationships on a totally easy place to do it. Do it in Facebook if you're not like super out there all the time.
Another one is to make a list of your top 10 dream team. These are people that you would pick to join your team if they couldn't say no. So, I mean, seriously think about all the people that you know, and, you know, maybe it's a nurse that, you know, from school or whatever, or maybe it's someone you know that is running their own company. Make this list and then message these people and tell them about the opportunity and that they landed on your dream list. You're on my dream team. It's a huge honor and they will love the compliment. Do they say yes or no? You never know, right? At that point, I'm going to share this little story. Be a direct selling superstar, because that's what we all want to be.
Bye.
Bye, Mary Christensen. Whoop, whoop. So we were commenting earlier. I asked her, I said, do you have the recruiting superstar? She goes, I think I lent it out. And I said, yeah, I lent mine out too. And it never got it back.
I hope it's still
I'm gonna-
circulating.
I have
out
to
there.
go buy another one. So this is chapter 6 in this book, and it says, work the numbers. So she is writing from her. It says, I recently joined a table of trophy winners on awards night. As I congratulated the person sitting next to me, I asked, what made you choose this company? Her response was, I always wanted to do this, so I attended every party I was invited to. No one ever asked me. This was the first company to ask, and I jumped at it. And I said, I wonder why no one asked you. And she looked a little wistful, and she said, so do I. So you don't even know who you're missing out on by not presenting that opportunity to every single person. She had put herself in every opportunity's way many times, but no one cared enough to notice. No doubt her confidence took a hit each time she felt rejected. Listen to this. We don't ask because we fear rejection, yet by not asking, you're rejecting them. There are 3 lessons to be learned from this story. First, if you don't seize the opportunity, someone else will. Second, you must offer the business to everyone without letting presumption or prejudice get in the way. No one builds a successful business by trying to handpick a team. I did just say pick your dream team, but that doesn't mean that somebody you're going to ask doesn't make your dream team once they sign up. You'll never know who's interested until you ask, and you'll never know who has potential unless you give them the opportunity to demonstrate it. And third, it's a poignant lesson about rejection. Nobody likes rejection, but the truth is you reject everyone to whom you fail to offer the opportunity. If you're concerned about the possibility of being rejected, you're focusing on yourself. And that means you're focusing on the wrong person, because aren't we sharing the opportunity to them? So it's about them. So that's just my little blip about that. A couple more quick tips. Share a picture or a story of something that selling Scentsy has allowed you to do. Paying for your car, getting your nails done, your kids in an activity that Scentsy helps pay for. Groceries even. You know, there's times when we're all in the grocery store on Scentsy payday because, woo, we're loaded. Join 3 Facebook groups around hobbies you enjoy. Post in there and say something like, hi, I'm Lisa. Some things about you, and some things about you, like including you work a Scentsy business, or you work a Velata business, or, you know, I work full time and I sell Scentsy and Velata on the side, and, you know, I really enjoy this, or this. You're injecting your business into what you're about. It's not like you're selling the business, but you're opening that door for people to have conversation. Oh, I love Scentsy. Go back over the last 6 months and contact each host individually and tell them what fun you had working with them, that you think of them often and would love to continue working with them as a Scentsy sister. Tell them specifically why they would be great at it. And then old drawing slips laying around, who gets rid of those? It's like I feel like I'm throwing an opportunity away because I have someone's name and number. I save them. Old drawing slips.
Kind of. It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a hoarder when it comes to it.
It's like information.
Yeah.
Pull them out and search for people about who had questions about the business and reach out to them again, because I'm sure you already did it when you finished your party or your event or wherever you got those slips signed, right? But it
Can I say
doesn't
something
hurt.
about that?
Yes.
Too. So let's say you have drawing slips or you have leads of people we talked about, you know, the one person who just said they were going to sign up this Friday after a year. But wherever you have that list, whether it's drawings, you know, drawing lists, or what do you call it? Drawing slips, or you've created a list of people that you're continuously following up with or whatever, just make sure that, like, you have that someplace all the time with you. Like, clip it in your planner, or, you know, write it on every month. These are the people that I'm going to check, you know, follow up with. And even if it's not like this direct conversation about joining, you're keeping that relationship open so that then when you have that conversation, it's not like, oh, I haven't heard from Lisa in like a year and now she's just asking me if I want to join. You know what I mean? Like, kind of create that relationship, but also have a system in place so that you can remember the people you need to follow up with. So
Absolutely. And then another thing we were talking on is what materials help you recruit. Well, she showed you her possibility packet, your story, branding, everything that opens the door to a conversation is a tool to help you. Collateral, anything you're carrying with you, your samples, your packets, your catalogs, business cards, anything. referrals, word of mouth. Sometimes we forget to include in our sentences with people, you know, are you interested in joining my team? You'd be really great at it. And they go, oh, no. And when I hand out possibility packets, like Friday, I handed out 2 at an event, and I told them both, even if you choose to not recognize the opportunity or contact me, if you would pass this packet on to someone that you think would be really good with Scentsy, that would be awesome, you know? And they can give me their name as referral, right? And I always reward referrals. That's a super awesome thing. Other materials or tools are social media and being prepared. If you walk into the store, and I can tell you I've done this, oh, I'm just going in for milk, I'll just take my wallet. But if you don't have business cards in your wallet, that's when the conversation's going to happen. Yeah.
Totally.
So throw a business card in every coat pocket you own, in every little pocket of your wallet, have one. Just be prepared with something that has your information on it. And then ask. Just don't forget to ask those questions. Offer the opportunity, but you need to listen. And I want to have a quick example of listening, because it was really funny in my workout this morning. I was tired, and I walk in, and I'm kind of a morning person, so when I'm tired, it's interesting. But I get kind of loopy, and so I'm trying to keep everybody going. And I love this gal that teaches the class, but she's so nice and soft-spoken. And I'm like, man, you gotta be telling me to work out, because it is 6 a.m. and this is the last place I want to be. So I just find it really funny. I look at her and I'm just like, come on, speak up, speak louder. She's just so sweet, and I love her to death. So I'm trying to be flip and funny just to keep people engaged.
Right.
And it's not that I don't think she's doing a good job. I feel like I want to help her. I want to help people. Like when you stop, when the music's quiet and nobody's talking, I got to fill that space. Because we can't have space, you know. Even if I can't breathe, I can't have space. So this is my baggage for her, and so, you know, I tease her and I say, I'm really sorry, I'm trying not to get kicked out of class. And she laughs. But this lady next to me, and I have seen her quite a bit at the classes, and I told her today, I asked her what her name was, and then my brain totally went somewhere else. Like, am I breathing right? Or I don't even know.
Right. Which happens.
She told me her name, and the whole rest of the class, I'm trying to remember what her name was. I'm like, I am a horrible listener. I mean, within 2 seconds of asking her, how long does it take to say, I'm sorry, what's your name? And she says, Lisa. And by then I've lost it. I'm like, oh, so I'm having this self-dialogue with my up downs and my high knees. And I'm like, I can't believe I can't remember her name. So before I left, I even asked someone on the other side of the room, do you know the gal in the pink? Do you remember her name? Nope, nothing. So I had to Facebook stalk her today to figure out what her name was, and I got it. So I don't have to ask her again. But then I thought, you know, that'd be a funny conversation for the next day, admitting my weakness and saying, okay, what's your name? And I'm going to look at her, and I'm going to listen, and then I'm going to play the name game, right? But I thought, what a huge lesson for me to understand how quickly I asked a question, and I wasn't even ready to listen. And it was the easiest question to answer. What's your name? You know, it's like, So ask and listen. Listen, Lisa. Listen, Lisa, Linda. Yeah. So that's all I have for that part.
Okay. All right. So Lisa gave us a lot of awesome tips. And the thing that I want to do to kind of like tie this all together is that we need to make sponsoring or recruiting, whatever you want to call it, we need to make that a lifestyle. It can't be like, oh, you know, right now I'm going to focus on sales and you know, I'm only going to focus on recruiting in February and August.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How are you going to do the power of one
you know,
if you're not having recruiting every month?
Yeah. And so I think sometimes we become like, just like hyper focused on one thing at a time instead of just make them go together. So like on my team, I posted, my team Facebook page, I posted last month about making sure that we're focusing on the dynamic duo. And, you know, those are the superpowers that are going to help you succeed. And so it's sales and recruiting, and you have to be doing them together. So every time you have a sales conversation, you should look at that as a recruiting opportunity as well, or a sponsoring opportunity. And sometimes we just forget to do that. It can't be just like all about the sale, all about the sale, all about getting a party. You know, we need to make this a way of life. And it's kind of like for anybody who's religious at all. I like to use this example just because it's something that I can relate to. You know, for me, going to church on Sunday, I go to church on Sunday, but I live my religion all the time, right? I can't just say, okay, well, this is my little compartment. On Sunday, I go to church, and then I live my life the rest of the week, and then I go to church, and then I live my life. No, it's part of who I am. So it should be the same way with Scentsy. Scentsy should be part of who you are. And there's lots of aspects to Scentsy that we need to be focusing on, but the really two important ones really are selling and building a team. And if you can make those just things that become natural, you're going to have to kind of like force it initially, you know, because maybe it's not natural for you to have those conversations. Maybe it's not natural for you to just say, hey, you know, a few things about me. I, you know, have this job, I do da-da-da-da, and I sell Scentsy, and I did it. It needs to be part of who Lisa is. It needs to be part of who Esther is. It needs to be part of who you are. And then that's when people start to really see what it is you're doing and become interested in it. Because otherwise it's like, oh, this is just the thing that she dabbles in now and then. But if you really are the Scentsy lady, it's a lot more effective.
Right.
But really making sure that you should, sorry, I got to put my glasses on. I can't even read my typing here. Every interaction should be viewed as a recruiting interaction as well. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you have to even be specifically saying, hey, do you want to join my team? Although I think that that's probably the most effective because you're not beating around the bush. Yeah. But if you're not comfortable with that, then look at it though, still look at it through the lens of recruiting and be like, okay, how can I develop a rapport with this person so that when I'm ready to ask them, we have a good enough relationship that I feel comfortable with that? Or how can I share with them my love of Scentsy and what I do so that eventually maybe they might become interested in it? You know, just always have your sales hat on and your recruiting glasses. And I think if you have those two things on all the time, you're going to be much more effective in what you're doing. Let's see. Oh, and then the other thing is we all have fears. You know, it's just natural for us to have fears. And the person on the receiving end even has like some fears and like apprehensions, like, oh, I don't know if I have time. You have to know how to help them overcome their fears, but you have to also be able to overcome your fears as well. Because, you know, maybe it doesn't come naturally for you. Maybe you stumble over the words, but the more you have those conversations, the more natural they become and the more just comfortable you become with it. You find the words. Do you want a piece of gum real quick?
Oh, no, thanks.
Do you want a piece of gum? Okay, sorry, I just needed a piece of gum real quick. But actually, this is a little example, and I'm going to chew my gum.
Do it.
So, all right. So, this little pack of gum here. Whenever I'm a gum chewer, I shouldn't be, I know, but I am. I just love gum. But, so, whenever you take a pack of gum out and you buy somebody, what do?
Offer.
You offer them a piece of gum. Why do you offer it to them?
It's courteous. It's the nice thing to do.
Okay, right. And you're enjoying the gum, and you're thinking, you know, they might enjoy it as well.
You might enjoy gum.
So when somebody offers somebody else a piece of gum and they say no, or, you know, am I offended by the fact that you said no?
No. Shouldn't be.
Are you offended that I asked you?
Unless you have bad breath.
Unless you have bad breath. Sometimes we might think that, but no, you didn't have bad breath. So like, and you know that I'm just offering you one because it's the nice thing to do.
Right.
So you're not offended.
Right.
Okay. Why is it any different with the Scentsy opportunity? Why do we look at it as anything bigger or more scary than offering somebody a stick of gum?
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't. Because it's the nice thing to do. It's something we enjoy. It's something that we benefit from. And we should just be offering that to everybody that we possibly can. And if we can look at it as something as simple as offering somebody a stick of gum, I think we're going to be amazed at how insignificant and minuscule those fears that we previously had become.
Right.
Because here's the truth of the matter. How much time do people really spend thinking about other people? I mean, it's sad, but it's true. And we all suffer from the same thing. And it's not that we're being rude. It's just that we have a lot on our minds, and we've got, our own problems and our own struggles and our own life. And so if I ask Lisa if she's interested in Scentsy, and we have a conversation and she says, no, she's not, and she goes about her business, I can sit there and analyze it and get all in my head and be like, oh my gosh, whatever, she's thinking of me. And really what's probably happening, Lisa's on her way, thinking about her workout, thinking about this, thinking about that. Mm-hmm. And she might have a little bit of a thought, like, oh, that was really nice that she asked me, or, oh, that was weird, I never would want to do that. But more than likely, she's not going to give it a second thought until something maybe happens and she sees me later and she sees me succeeding and doing well and enjoying what I do. And then that seed that is there that she doesn't even remember is there.
Yep.
Kind
it's
of
a little
sparks.
water.
Yes, it kind of grows just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so people talk about planting a seed, and that's like a perfect way to look at it. I really don't think people give it, though, a second thought. Like, oh, wow, I believe she just asked me to do that. I mean, we just don't. We don't function that way. I mean, at least I don't think like 99.9% of the people in the world function that way. So anyway, that's just a little something for you. Hopefully these tips have been beneficial and helpful. It is 7:47. And so on that note, we are going to go ahead and, it's weird. We don't even have the question thing. I just noticed that.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I just noticed that we don't have questions.
Hopefully you're not asking questions.
You're asking questions. Sorry.
We're sorry. We'll answer them on the team pages later.
Yes, exactly.
That's what we're going to do. Yeah.
But we're going to have a little interaction. Oh yeah, look at that diffuser. We're going to just do a little activity.
Yep.
So if you're watching, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and I will grab some for us. Okay.
So here's the gist of our little activity. Emotions and feelings within each of us are triggered in different ways. We think differently, therefore we see things differently. We often do not imagine that other people may see something quite differently than we do as to how we see the same thing. So I think of something specific, and then I would think that everybody thinks the same. That's kind of what our makeup is. Management and relationships in work and outside of work, in all of your life, depend heavily on our being able to understand the other person's view and what causes it to be different than our own. So think about, as you're wrapping your head around that comment, think about your kids, how you start knowing what they're thinking because you have this relationship with them, and you know that maybe they're not strong in an area, like a sport maybe, and they're trying to be peer pressured into trying out. And so they have this fear of their skill or whatever, and you understand that they have the fear, so then you can communicate with them because you know of that insecurity. You understand their feelings.
Okay.
I know this may be hard, but you really need to try, and no matter how it turns out, if you've done your best, that's the best you have. It doesn't matter. So to illustrate and work on this, we're going to explore our mental associations of our world with color. So I want everyone to close their eyes and imagine the days of the week and what color is each day. And then I want you to write down a color of the day. So as you think about it, like what color does Monday sound like to you? And what color is Tuesday? And just write some colors down. Were you crawling on the floor because you didn't want to be in the video?
Yeah.
You're so cute. Okay, I have a few listed. There's a few days I had trouble putting in color too. I really need to assess that. So review and compare people's different color associations where people consciously and are willing to share their associations. So I shared a little bit with you and I told you that for me, I can't even tell you why, but Wednesdays are yellow. What's your Wednesday?
It's orange.
What's your Wednesday?
Yellow.
Yellow?
Ah.
Look at that. Her and I speak the same language. So you want to review the differences. What is your Monday?
Monday's red.
Oh,
Monday's red.
really?
Red seems like all business, powerful.
See, I put red on Friday.
Ooh.
I
See, I put
think-
purple.
I
Friday
think-
is green.
Mentally, I think that I rock Fridays. I don't know why. And I think it should be the last day I even think about work, but it feels to me those are my stronger days.
Right.
Saturday is green for me because
Green?
it's like green to go.
Oh, see, yeah, I put green
Yeah.
just because I think I always associate.
Did
that with,
anybody
like,
put
doing
black
yard work and stuff. I did
anywhere?
not have any black days.
I didn't.
No black days. Tuesday's a black day for me, and I don't know why.
Oh.
Weird.
It's kind of a blah day. Just,
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
So if you can ask, it's okay. They don't mind.
It might be on the couch here, or Dad might have taken it.
If anyone sees all the days as the same color, or sees no color association at all, or perhaps sees or senses a more powerful alternative association, this is equally worthy and it's their viewpoint. So this is what we're learning. I'm not judging you because your Wednesday is not yellow, you know, and I'm not judging you because your Friday is not red. So we just have to understand the concept. So if you can keep this color concept in your head, well, as you start listening, okay, I need to quit thinking what I think, and I just need to listen to what they're saying and where they're coming from. So what's their color, right? That's
Right,
just
just
kind
like
of
you said earlier, make it about them.
make it about them.
Okay.
So the days of the week are a simple fixed pattern, yet we see them in different ways. It's easy to imagine the potential for a far greater differences in the way we see more complex situations like our work or the responsibilities we feel or the relationships, etc. Human beings will never see things exactly in the same way, and this is not the aim of work or life. Instead, the aim should be to understand each other's views far better so that we can minimize conflict and maximize cooperation. So if you go into, and this is very easy for me to speak on a corporate level because I still work full-time. If I go into a meeting and I know that I have 5 people in here and I've worked with these people for, you know, well over a year or more. I've almost been at my company 20 years. So some of them I've worked for a very long time. I kind of know their personalities, and I've obviously had the opportunity to develop relationships. So I might be in a meeting and I might realize that somebody is a shoot from the hip kind of person. They are a problem solver, but in solving a problem, they can disrupt the whole rest of the day because they're only trying to take care of this customer right now. And so I'm going to take this resource and this resource and I'm going to make it all better. But now there's 2 problems because the resources were taken. So I know this going into this meeting that this is how this person deals with. And while I appreciate what they're trying to do, I need to remember all the opportunities that are going to be, resources are going to be taken. So I need to be able to say, well, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? If someone speaks to me on a personal level and tells me what they have going on, but we get into a meeting and they don't speak up, then you know it's shy or they don't want to be put on the spot. So sometimes I can help that along by facilitating, does anybody have any problems with, and I might present a problem that I know they have. And then all they have to do is say, well, I kind of do. You know, then they didn't bring up the problem. They just addressed, oh, I think I experienced this problem, or let's find a way to work this. So that's what I kind of mean by that. So empathy and trust are a platform for effective understanding, for communication, and for relationships. Empathy and trust are essential to develop solutions to win and retain business and avoid diffusing the conflict. Empathy and trust are essential for handling complaints and retaining customers. If you think about this, why do your customers keep coming back to you? because you offer the good service, because they trust you, because you get to know them. You may know their birthdays. You may know what they have going on in their life. You may know that they experienced a loss in their family. I mean, all of that plays a part in your relationship with them and then how you treat them. These days, we need to be more effective communicators to be successful in business and in life. So let's think of the steps of the sale. And by sale, I mean closing a recruiting conversation, right? Persuasion, closing techniques, features, benefits, they do not build rapport. Empathy, trust, and understanding, and a sympathetic communication does. One-sided persuasion is not sustainable and is often insulting. Is this not where we think of a used car salesman? I mean, they're just in it for the sale. Rarely do you ever find one that's asking what you want out of your car. Right. What do you want it to do? What kind of performance are you looking for, right? So those kind of questions. We find it insulting if we're not asked, ultimately, what is our goal of this purchase or this communication? And especially when handling complaints. So trust and empathy are far more important in achieving and sustaining a successful and personal business relationship. The legacy of the days of hard sell is that many customers and businesses are more reluctant to expose themselves to situations where they may be asked to make a decision. And I love that sentence, because how many times do you think, oh, I hope they don't ask me to join It Works or Posh, or you go to a party and you're like, oh, you know, someone's going to ask me. Or you go to the car lot and you just want to look at a car, right, and you feel like you'll be pressured to sell. It's just how it is. We're all like, oh, I don't want to be forced to make a decision. Well, if you present yourself and the opportunity with an open-ended conversation, like, you don't have to decide right now, but I just wanted to let you know I thought you'd be very good at this job. You have now planted that seed there. It can grow. You don't need someone to say you have to make a decision now, and if you don't decide to join me now, you're never going to get the chance. Right. That isn't how it's done. So this places pressure on the process of arriving at a deal, and very special skills are now needed to manage the situation when the business is done, because now you've laid an ultimatum out. And so then how do you get out of this conversation?
Right. And ultimatums are never good.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So that's my little tip. So please remember colors. And if nothing else, just remember what color was your favorite and what day of the week it was. And maybe that's the day you go recruit. Maybe. Maybe. I tell you, when I want power, I wear red. When I want to feel good, I wear blue or yellow. These are just color therapy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I always associations with them. Yep, I always think about that. I get more compliments on my eyes and that I look good on days when I wear blue, any kind of blue. And it's because my eyes are blue. And then when I wear yellow, I'm just happier, period. Like, yes, you can't bring me down. Mm-hmm. And then when I wear red, I feel like people respect what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's a power trip.
Yes, and that's why Monday was
you're red.
And I think it's really important. I think that this is a good place to end, because I think it's important to remember, again, it's all about relationships. Yes. And then just once you have developed a relationship with someone, it doesn't mean it needs to take months or years. I mean, you can develop a relationship with somebody at the grocery store if you're, really adept at it. You can definitely develop a relationship with somebody at a party. So once you've developed a relationship and you are being empathetic, understanding, trying to see things through their perspective or their eyes, then just remember to ask. And I think that's the biggest tip that I can probably leave, is just asking. Yeah. Because, and you might not be super skilled at it initially, but all of these little tips are things that you can do and you can employ and you can bring to bear when you are presenting the opportunity and as you're learning and kind of finding your way as to how to approach this. But just ask, and you're going to get better and better and better at it. I think some people think, what's the secret to your success, or, tell me your magic secret for recruiting. And really, it's just making it part of who you are. Yep. Something that you do all the time. It's not like, okay, I'm going to put my hat on today, my recruiting hat, and my sales sunglasses. I mean, think of wearing those all the time.
Yep.
And working it together, and then remember that as you bring somebody on, encourage them to do the same. Encourage them to sponsor as well, and you're going to see amazing growth and potential with this business. And I mean, and we're still so young. We really, really are. There's so many people in the world, and you know, I mean, I can only handle so many customers. I can't handle a gajillion customers anyway. And I mean, I don't know what the population of the earth is right now or anything like that, or even like the US. I lose track of those kinds of numbers. But I mean, there's more than enough customers for all of us. And we could recruit for probably another 15, 20 years. And we're talking about nobody ever dropping off ever. And we still probably wouldn't really be saturated.
Right.
So just look at it as the opportunity that it is, and develop those relationships. Remember to ask, and take care of your team as you sponsor them. Don't just recruit them, actually take care of them and teach them. And you're sure to have the blessing of achieving the goals that you have personally. So that's it for the information. We do want to introduce, we're going to be doing a recruiting blitz for the next 48 hours. So it is 8 p.m. on Thursday night. So through 8 p.m. on Saturday night, we're going to be doing a recruiting blitz. Lisa's going to run it with her team. I'm going to run it with my team as well. And so we want you to go out and have as many recruiting conversations as you possibly can. Employ some of these tips and things that we've talked about tonight, and see if you can't sponsor somebody before Saturday at 8 p.m. Yep. And the way I'm running it on my team is anybody who actually sponsors somebody between now and Friday night is going to have their name put in a drawing.
Saturday night?
Saturday night?
You said Friday night.
Oh, Saturday
night.
Saturday night, 8 p.m. Then you're going to have your name put in a drawing for a little prize. I don't even know what that prize is yet.
Yeah, I don't know what my prize is either, but we're doing the same thing.
So it'll be fun. So let's talk about recruiting and have those conversations on our pages and support one another and get excited about this. Do you want to do a secret word?
Yes, I want to do a secret word.
Okay, so you explain.
Today's secret word is extra peppermint gum.
Ooh,
3 extra words. So for anyone on our teams who contacts us, Stephanie or myself, with the secret words, you don't count, but you're already in the hat. With those secret words, extra peppermint gum.
Not like publicly on our Facebook page,
no,
like through PM or text or phone call.
Yep. So what this is doing for us is it's just allowing us to see how many people might go back and watch the video. So you might see us suggest that they come watch this, but you can't spill the beans. And maybe the 2 viewers on there and Esther are going to be the big winners. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So we have a secret word, and that's it.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and watch for us next month. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.